check me out. Look at this. I'm really out here in the field, as in the field as you can possibly get, because this video, we're gonna be getting to a good topic to be in the field for. So let me get in my bag. Self-improvement is useless without spirituality. So what I'm talking about is a general self-improvement. I'm talking about, fixing up your mind, getting jacked, sun's out, guns out, that type of stuff. The general stuff. Go take cold showers, do a little bit of meditation, just the basic stuff, the general stuff, the surface level stuff. That stuff is great and it's a good start. But without getting into spirituality, I'm not telling you have to get into a specific version of spirituality, because there is no version. You all are spiritual, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to realize it or not, whether you know it or not. You're a spiritual being. You're using the mind like a steering wheel to move this car around your body, your vehicle, and this is all done through the soul. So what I mean by how it's almost useless to a certain degree, to some certain point, is because yes, you can improve your mind, you can improve your body, you can make some more money, you can attract more girls, because that's one of the biggest things when it comes to this red pill self-improvement stuff, which is not going to help you that much along the way, but that's another topic. You can improve your social skills and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you're still going to be left with a void. You're still going to be left with a hole in you. Something's empty because you're not nourishing the soul. And this is why spirituality is so important. We all neglect one of the most important parts of this life, because there's three aspects of it. There's the mental, metaphysical, all that stuff. Then there's the physical, all this stuff. And then there's the spiritual, which is probably the most important, but they're all important in their own categories. You got to be living in a state of alignment and balance between all three, or one way is going to get overpowered. The balance is going to be tipped off, all that stuff. That's what I'm trying to promote on this channel, having a fit mind, a fit body, and a fit soul. So back to what I was saying. When you're only focusing on the surface level things, the mental stuff, the physical stuff, you never really get deeper into what you truly are, your true core essence, the self that needs the improvement when it comes to self-improvement. I hope you got that, man. That's some deep shit. Self-improvement. The whole idea of self, once you get into spirituality and all that, is understanding that this is temporary. The mind is temporary. The body is temporary. You're only using it for a certain amount of period of time to go about your duty in this physical world, in this physical plane. But when it's all said and done, hopefully you get that job done so you can go back to the spiritual plane where you were before you were born, and where you've always been, where you've always belonged, where all things start and where all things end. And once you start realizing this stuff, once you start getting into spirituality, once you start actually diving into the deeper aspects of life, you're gonna understand that, hey man, all this stuff I'm doing to improve myself, this and that, it's great, it's perfect, it's good. I'm not saying not to do it, but at some point, it's kind of what I was saying. At a certain point, it becomes to a point where you get all the benefits. Yes, you can keep exceeding and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you can't keep growing, but without the spiritual sauce to it, you're still gonna be leaving up empty at the end of the day. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the girls in the world, you can have all the cars, you can have the biggest muscles, you can have the most productivity, the best business, all this, but you're still not going to be at your highest version, your highest potential, your highest self without spirituality. without tapping in within that infinite part of yourself. The part of you that's not bound to any of these rules in the physical or mental plane, but one that soars beyond everything that you can really imagine, that I can even imagine, that I'm just tapping into, and hopefully that you guys are tapping into when it comes to the spiritual plane. So I urge you guys to start taking that aspect of self-improvement more seriously, because the basic things, the stuff that you can get better at, dopamine detox, getting crazy pumps at the gym, all that stuff, at a certain point, it is what it is. You got it down, you can keep improving upon it, but the missing link is that spiritual component. And once you start diving into it and you start adding these practices into your life, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. You're gonna realize what I'm talking about. And hopefully, I'm doing my job on my channel to give you all the sauce, to do all that stuff, because at the end of the day, when it comes to spiritual teachings, they just give you the tools, the manuals, the blueprint to find the answers within yourself. You have to understand on a deep level, you are a microcosm of the macrocosmic reality of this universe. You got you're a piece of this entire puzzle, but you have all the pieces of that entire puzzle already within you. I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, because this is some real game. This is some real game. So all these spiritual teachings and all that stuff are giving you guys the ability to go deeper within yourself, uncover the true nature of yourself, and once you start doing that, you uncover the true nature of reality. And that in itself is probably the most important aspect of self-improvement, because when you start understanding the true nature of reality, you'll understand that the only way that you can help out this world, the only way you can make an imprint, make an impact, is by doing the work within. Once you do the work within, everything radiates out. And I'm not just saying the mental, physical stuff. That's more on the superficial and outward. It still is internal because you're working on yourself, but the soul is something deep down within you. And when you start working on it, you start moving different. You start just seeing life differently. You just start enjoying and embracing every aspect of life. You start understanding that everything is what it is and nothing is what it isn't. So you don't fret over things. You don't try to control so many things. You are just so present in the present moment, which is probably the biggest gift of life. That's a bar. Present, come on, let's get it. So yeah, man, there's something I was talking about with somebody recently, how at some point down the line in your self-improvement journey, you got to get down to the next levels by going inward spiritually. Like you see all these guys in the red pill community, whatever you want to call it, bro, self-improvement, the general mainstream stuff. I'm not bashing on them, but they kind of rinse and repeat the same shit over and over again. But they're missing that key element, the spiritual. They got the mental, they got the physical, they may have got the financial, they may have got the social, the relationships, all that stuff. But without that spiritual, bro, you're still lost. You're still lost, and the only way you can find yourself is to go deep down within the unknown, within the deep end, the dark space, and just find the light. Find the light within this all. Figure out what this all means. You got to think about these things. All these philosophical guys, the spiritual greats of the world, they were all still somewhat tapping into the mental and physical. Plato was jacked as shit, I heard. Like Leonardo da Vinci probably benching 315, weighted pull-ups, 135 pounds like it's nothing, all that stuff. They were still tapping into that because they knew the importance of that. But they knew the next stages of life, the big aspects of life lies within the spiritual and metaphysical planes. Those are where the secrets of the universe start to become revealed to you. The things of why you were brought here. Because there's only 1 in 400 trillion chance that you were brought here. Don't you want to know the reason? Don't you want to understand all these things that will help you improve in all other aspects of life? Because without that, you're kind of running in circles. You can do all this stuff, like I said, keep improving yourself on the superficial level, but you're never going to get down to the nitty-gritty, to the stuff that will actually transcend and allow you to ascend to the higher states of consciousness, to ascend to the higher states of the self. Self-improvement in itself, that's what it's about. So if you're neglecting this part, you ain't really doing self-improvement. Hopefully you get what I'm saying, man, because once you start realizing this stuff, and I wish somebody told me this earlier, and maybe you perceive it, maybe you don't. But I'm just planting the seed. Maybe it gets watered, maybe it doesn't. But all in all, self-improvement to a certain degree, to a certain point, becomes kind of stagnant, becomes kind of useless without adding in the spiritual element. Once you add in the spiritual element, it unlocks new doors to the mental and physical. And when you add in those new doors to the mental and physical, it unlocks new doors to the spiritual. It's a working triangle. It's the Holy Trinity, dare I say. The mind, body, and soul. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Whatever, bro. I didn't say it. You ain't heard it from me. But food for thought. But it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. It's been Fulati Fitness. No, actually, screw that. It's been What the Fulati, because this is a rant off the dome, out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. And I'm out of here. Peace.